The Chicago Cubs salvage a series and pull one game away from the Pirates, hopefully building momentum off of this, and the offense can rebound in Philadelphia. We'll get you ready for the Phillies series, and we'll also talk about who can Craig Counsell trust out of the bullpen. All this and more right after this. Welcome to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. And right off the bat, let's go ahead, wave that W flag. Let's feel good today. After a real harsh episode yesterday, let's just feel good today. Let's be excited about what the Chicago Cubs are doing and have done. Listen, the Chicago Cubs played against the Pittsburgh Pirates in a game that they went down early. The Chicago Cubs went down early. Let's get right to it. Cruz homered in the very first inning. He was the first batter up for the Pittsburgh Pirates, immediately hitting a home run off of Jameson Taillon. After that, Jameson Taillon would get the rest of the guys out in the first inning. Then in the second inning, Lowe would homer. And Ozuna would score, Horwitz would score, and Griffin would score. The Chicago Cubs, after just the second inning, find themselves going down 5-0. Now, of course, albeit the weather played a part in it, albeit, of course, all the different elements and things like that, and with Jameson Taillon being a fly ball pitcher, you just knew it was just going to be a game where the Chicago Cubs are going to be swept, right? You just felt that in the air that the Chicago Cubs were going to go down big in this game and that this one was one they were probably going to lose. Now, I had said, and I tweeted this out during the game as I was watching, the Chicago Cubs probably should have switched up and had J-Mo pitch yesterday. Great weather, great opportunity for J-Mo yesterday to really, really thrive. It's the type of weather where he could get a lot of outs on the ground or even through the air, especially since it was blowing to the left, would have knocked a lot of balls down, kept a lot of balls in the park. Might have been great to have J-Mo pitch that game and then give Edward Cabrera the opportunity to pitch this game today, where the Chicago Cubs really needed somebody that has a little bit more force, a little bit more oomph in his pitches, that can execute, and probably would have gotten a lot of strikeouts because guys were swinging for the fences with the wind blowing out at Wrigley. Wrigley Field, guys, is a ballpark that plays two different ways. Like I said, it can rob you and it can reward you. Sometimes you'll love playing at Wrigley. Other times you'll absolutely hate it. However, for this game's purposes, the Chicago Cubs were down big. But listen, for once, they weren't out. Dansby Swanson in the third comes in and homers to left center. Moises Ballesteros in that same inning will homer also. Then Lowe would come in and get another homer. Have a day for yourself, Brandon Lowe. He got another home run. And then after that, Alex Bregman would hit a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the fifth to get it to 6-3. Bregman in the seventh would then pop out to second base. Dansby Swanson, remember what I talked about on yesterday's episode about Quinn Berry, our third base coach, being a lot more aggressive with the send? Well, he sent Dansby Swanson after the Pirates second baseman would fall on his face, making the catch to get Bregman out. Dansby read that well and darted for home plate and would score the run easily. The Chicago Cubs were down 6-4. Then after that, the man that was set in this game that did not start the day at first base, the guy that had to take a breather, Michael Busch, would single to left. And because of a scoring error in the eighth inning, Michael Busch singles to left, scores 2 runs to tie the game up. So literally, this left fielder threw Brian Reynolds threw a throwing error, and like I said, Michael Busch made it to second, and Suzuki scored and Swanson scored on that error. And then, of course, you come down to the bottom of the ninth inning, and you bring up Carson Kelly. The bags are juiced and loaded, and this is an opportunity that the Chicago Cubs just have not been able to capitalize on. And what do? They capitalize on it. The Chicago Cubs win the game. Carson Kelly singles to center, and there's no chance for Cruz or anybody else to go grab and nab that ball, and they realize it, and the Chicago Cubs walk off the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates still win the series 2-1, which they'll take. Pirates are actually number one in the Central Division right now with a 9-6 record after that loss to the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs are still dead last in the Central Division. We got some work to do, but you aren't far behind. Milwaukee Brewers are 8-7. St. Louis Cardinals are 8-7. The Cincinnati Reds are 9-7, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are 9-6. So again, everybody is pretty damn close right now. Again, it's the beginning of the season. There's no need for anybody to worry just yet. Nobody has put themselves really above anybody else, but it would be nice for the Chicago Cubs in the next week to build off of this and to become the team that we know that they can be, which is obviously a team above 500, a team that's a playoff contender, a team that should be able to do some things in the postseason. That's really what the goal is to get there, to be a team that can do more in the postseason. But like I keep telling you guys, we have to do this one day at a time. We cannot continuously, put the cart before the horse. The Chicago Cubs have a lot of work to do and a lot of ground to make up. And like I said, it's going to take some time to make that up. But that's why we have this season. So again, it's up to the Chicago Cubs to figure it out. It's up to Craig Counsell to figure it out, and it's up to them to put themselves in better position to do what they need to do. So very, very interested to see what they are going to do and how they will build off of this. Like I said, we have another series coming up. We're now headed to Pennsylvania. Coincidentally enough, we just got done playing the Pirates, but now the Chicago Cubs are actually right now headed to Pennsylvania to play against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies and the Chicago Cubs have the exact same record right now, 7-8. Both teams not off to the hottest of starts. Both teams have won some games. Both teams have also suffered some losses. Here we go. It's going to be Javier Assad pitching for the Chicago Cubs on Monday. It's going to be him, a 5:40 start time. Javier Assad versus Christopher Sanchez. Javier Assad boasts a 1-0 record with a 0.00 ERA. Meanwhile, Christopher Sanchez is 1-1 with a 1.65 ERA. Christopher Sanchez is a left-handed pitcher. So we will see what he's able to do with that. That is your Monday game right there. And then obviously, we move to Tuesday. It will be Colin Ray versus Aaron Nola. Colin Ray is 1-0 with a 3.18 ERA. Meanwhile, Nola posts a 1-1 record with a 3.63 ERA with 17 innings pitched. And then last but not least, on Wednesday, it will be, oh man, I thought we was going to miss him, but I guess not. The Chicago Cubs, Shota Imanaga, will go up against Jesus Luzardo, the guy I often said I wanted the Chicago Cubs to go get. Jesus Luzardo has not looked great this season so far, guys. But for some reason, he's always able to pull it together against the Chicago Cubs. Jesus Luzardo has a record of 1-2 with a 6.23 ERA. And he will be going up against Shota Imanaga, who has a 2.81 ERA with a 0.81 whip in 16 innings pitched. Shota Imanaga looked damn good in his last start. So like I said, we against the Pirates. So we'll see how he's able to pull it together. And we'll see. Like I said, I mean, the Chicago Cubs have a lot going for themselves. So that is a look ahead for the week. Then of course we welcome the Mets back to Wrigley. So like I said, so it'll be the Mets coming into Chicago for the weekend. So we have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Matthew Boyd is expected to be back for the Chicago Cubs on that weekend homestand series where we welcome in the Mets, and then we welcome in the Phillies. Then we take off to see the Dodgers, and then we finish up the month of April against the Padres. So, like I said, we will see what happens. I am very, very excited to see what the Chicago Cubs are able to do with this. So we ask ourselves, guys, and often but not, we talk about the fact that the Chicago Cubs need to have a steady bullpen, right? Who are the guys in the bullpen that you can look to and you can say, okay, I can hand you the ball and I can trust you? Coincidentally enough, Craig Counsell right now has Riley Martin, who just got called up, and he has been a huge part of the Chicago Cubs bullpen. He right now is a part of the circle of trust or the tree of trust or whatever you want to call it, the whatever you want to call it, however you want to name it. He is a part of the trust right now coming out of the bullpen that he can come and get outs. So, like I said, he's somebody right now that you have to look at. He has 0 saves. He has a 0.00 ERA. He has 3 strikeouts and a whip of 0.60 right now for the Chicago Cubs. Of course, you look at Ethan Roberts, somebody that has been up and down for the Chicago Cubs. Ethan Roberts also has 0 saves right now, but he does also boast a 0.00 ERA with 2 strikeouts and a 0.38 whip in limited action. Then you want to look to the other guys that give the Chicago Cubs an opportunity to win ball games. And I give my good buddy Cody Del Mundo a hard time often because he's often tweeting about Ben Brown. But let's be honest here. Ben Brown right now has come into multiple games where he's had to come into the game early and stretch things out for the Chicago Cubs that might not have what they need out of the bullpen. So Ben Brown right now has an ERA of 3.55. His last outing, which was Saturday, he pitched two innings. He allowed just 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. He gave the Chicago Cubs every opportunity to win that Saturday game. Now, again, that's the game we're trying to forget, try to move forward from it, but it might be one we have to circle back to. Ben Brown is somebody that we definitely need know that the Chicago Cubs need to have in their circle of trust right now. And last but not least, none other than that man, Daniel Palencia. Daniel Palencia, as of right now, has 1 save on the season, a 0.00 ERA, 5 strikeouts, and a 1.00 whip. These are the guys right now that Craig Counsell can absolutely trust. These are the guys that you feel good about coming out of the bullpen, guys that you believe will be able to either hold the lead or keep the other team from scoring more and keep it as close as possible to give the Chicago Cubs a chance to get back into the game. So, as of right now, these are the people that we trust. I understand you guys, some of you might ask, okay, where does Caleb Thielbar rank in this? Well, as of right now, with everything that's happened, I don't know that I can give Caleb Thielbar a spot in the tree of trust right now. He is somebody that will be called out there. Phil Maton has been the biggest disappointment out of everybody that we signed to be a part of the bullpen so far this season. So we'll see what happens. Hunter Harvey has been pretty good too for the Chicago Cubs. So he's another one that is a part of that tree of trust. But I want to know from you guys, who do you guys believe should be a part of that tree of trust? Who do you guys believe should be there when it matters most? We'll see. But listen, I appreciate you guys so much. We'll be right back here. Don't miss it. Another episode right after the Phillies game will drop. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to Chicago Cubs Central, your number 1 spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. And until next time, go Cubs, go. Let's fly that W flag one more time just to feel real good about ourselves. Fly that W flag, baby. Every time the Chicago Cubs win, we fly the W flag. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss Chicago Cubs action right here on your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs, Chicago Cubs Central. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the number one spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.